Hi, today I'm going to be talking about the Membership Rates module. This is located under the Operations tab, right here, labeled Membership Rates. This module is going to allow you to control your membership rates in a table-based format. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looks like on the live site. So this is the membership rates table. This is what the actual module is going to be controlling. So this is going to be where you can specify your different age groups or your different membership levels, those types of things, and the monthly rate, any specials that are associated with this, like if there's a discount, any joiner fees, and giving people an option to actually join online, like giving them a link to click on. So let's go ahead and get into this here. So this module as you can see, we have this first item inside, which says heading info, and then everything else underneath of it, you can see says youth, teen, young adults, and so on. So these are all of your different rates. So you can think of items 2 and above, so all of these, as your different listings here. Now your heading info is always going to be the first item in this list, and that's because these headings are controlled first. That's just how the module is set up. So let's go ahead and edit heading info. As you can see, we have a category that's just set to global, and we have an internal name called a heading info, and then we have a field called entry type, which is labeled table setup for first item. So basically what this is saying is that whenever you're setting up the table, you're going to make sure that this is the first item. And within table setup, we're going to have some of the headings. So the table heading is going to be right here, right underneath this the main heading. So that's going to be what you can control with that. The column 1, column 2, joiner, and registration, all of those are just the headings for each of the individual columns. So if we wanted this to be, instead of special, maybe we wanted this to say discount or special discount, we could apply that, and now that column will now change. Now you can see that says special discount. Alright, and so let's go ahead and go to a different item here. So let's go ahead and click on youth. So youth, you can see, also has a category and has an internal name. And so internal name is just for labeling purposes. It's not actually going to show up on the live site. And then notice here that the entry type actually says rate compared to first table or table setup first item. So rate is going to be a different entry type. So and notice here, if we click on these two different entry types, you can see all these fields like changing. So make sure you're choosing the right one there. So the first one is always going to be table setup, and everything after that is going to be rate. Alright, so now then, within the rate entry type, you have a couple different labels. So you have your membership level, which is going to be the main title that you see right here, and then you also have this description. So this description is what we're talking about. That's right below the actual title. Okay, and then you have the rates for each of the columns. So for column 1, you have your rate. Your column 2, you have your rate. Column 3, for the joiner column, we also have our rate. And then for the final column, we have the ability to insert a link. So right here is where you're actually going to insert that link, and you'll be able to use the insert link wizard, which you're probably familiar with. And from this, you'll be able to insert your links to wherever their destination page is going to be, wherever they can join online, and then whatever text you want that actual button to say. Okay. Now notice here that we have a few other checkboxes associated for each of the columns. So for column 1, we have show column 1 with no value. Okay, so if we just turn that on and delete that, now notice if we hit apply, now this is going to show up as blank. Notice it just shows up with nothing in it. So that's what that's going to do. So if you have maybe for a special discount, for example, you don't have a rate or something for that one specific one. Maybe you want to delete that. So that's really just a formatting thing, a preference. So you can use that however you wish. But these little checkboxes for show with no value. So basically what that's going to do is, say for example you have all of these other different rates in here, but you only need one of them to be blank. So that's when you would use one of these show with no value options. So you can see that has that for both columns 1 and 2, and it works in the same way. Okay. Now the joiner column, notice that we have a couple different options here. So first off, we have the no value, so it works in the same exact way as this one. So if there's a specific item in here that just doesn't get a value compared to all the rest that do, this is when you would use that. Where now this other one here, this is strike through joiner column. So if we turn that on, which it currently is, notice here that this is now a strike through. If we turn this off and we hit apply, notice now that it's going to be, it's not going to have that strike through. So that strike through is going to say, okay, we're waiving that joiner fee. That's not going to apply for this month or something like that. Maybe you have a special running where you waive the joiner fee. Okay, so that's when you use the strike through. Okay, and same thing down here. So we talked about the link, the registration link. You also have the ability here to show with no button. So that works in the same way as these. So if there's a special instance where this needs to you need to eliminate a button for one of the specific items, then that's when you would use that. Okay. All right. So that's basically how you would go through and use this. You can actually reorder these simply by dragging and dropping. So if we want to position family up higher in the list, we can do that. All we have to do is reorder it just like that. Okay. Now, last thing I'll mention here is that, say for example, you just don't want a joiner column. Maybe you don't have a joiner fee, or maybe you just don't run discounts. Maybe you don't have specials, or something like that. So there might be an instance where you might want to just completely eliminate a column. If that's the case, what you would do is you would just delete all of the information related to that column. So we'll start at the heading, and we'll apply that, and we'll just delete all that information, and we'll save it, and then we'll just go through all the rest. And so now we just delete that information, okay, for column 2, and then we just keep going through the rest of them. And so at the end of this, we would see that there would not be any information inside of that column. That column would just disappear. Okay. So let's go ahead and just demonstrate this to ourselves. This will take a second just to do all of these. All right. Almost done. Alright, so now that's done. So now if we refresh this, now we can see that this only has 3 columns instead of 4. So, alright, so that's the membership rates module. Now, when you actually want to put this module in place, there will be a specific tag that you have to use in order for this to show up. So let's edit this membership page right here. And so this page has this specific tag on it. It says bracket layout dot membership _ rates _ lister bracket. And so that tag is what you're going to need in order to embed this. So this table can be embedded on any web page in any editor. So be sure to place this tag wherever you want that to show up. All you have to do is copy and paste it into any web page or anything wherever you want that to show up. Okay. All right. That concludes this membership rates training video. Thank you.